Both yoga and running allow us to follow a rhythmic breath, to connect with our body, and to allow everything else to fall away. When paired with one another, they're the perfect complement to each other. Running helps to strengthen and tighten our body, while yoga helps to lengthen and restore. Use this sequence to help you prepare for your runs, to recover from the run, and to also aid the joint and connective tissue in the body so that you can continue to run free from injury. Enjoy. Come to the front of your mat. Find equal standing pose, mountain pose. Find a place where you can root down into your feet. You can feel all four corners of your feet, pushing down into the earth. Lift and lower your toes, create space between each and every one. Shift your weight around and feel your weight distribute evenly. From this strong foundation, start to pull energy and awareness up into your legs, rolling your shoulders up, back, and down into place. Connect with your legs here and now. Start to notice the sensations existing in your knees, in your hips, in your thighs. Notice areas where you may be already harboring a bit of tension. Try and soften those areas consciously with your breath, stabilizing through your core and your torso, the spine, the lifeline of the body. Settling into Tadasana. Extend your fingertips towards the floor, rotating your palms forward. From Tadasana, again soften your feet. Take your right leg behind your left. Try and firmly push your inner thighs towards one another and stabilize through the hips. Sweep your arms overhead, interweave your fingers all but your index finger and thumb. With strong energy radiating down into your legs, take your arms up and over to the right. Avoid rolling your rib cage towards the sky. Try and stretch the side of your body as you root into both heels. Inhale as you come back up to center. Switching sides now. Rooting down into your feet again, get nice and long. Take your left leg now. Cross it behind your right leg, interwoven fingers. Arms extend up and over the body. Try and draw your shoulders away from your ears, get nice and long, navel to spine. Strong connection to your core. Steady breath. Inhale again, come back to center. Bring your hands down towards your heart. Release the hands beside the hips. And again, step your feet about hips distance apart, the front of the mat. Bend your knees now as you sink down. Sink down into your heels, lower your hips. Reach your arms back beside your body, palms rotating towards the floor. Now interweave your fingers behind you, clasping your palms. Let your chest roll forward. Allow your shoulders to hit the front of the kneecaps. Allow your torso to rest on the shelf created by your thighs as you work into the shoulders and the legs at the same time, opening up the back, shoulders, and legs. Slowly inhale, lift the chest, release the binding of your hands, and then come down into a more passive forward fold, a place where gravity can work on restoring your spine and the length between the vertebrae. Really soften your knees here, nothing too aggressive. Roll forward, push down into your fingertips, and draw your feet a little bit closer together. Wiggle the toes, break tension in the bottom of your feet. So important to root into our foundations, becoming aware of the bottom of the feet. Grab on now to your elbows, grab onto your arms, and hang even heavier towards the floor, waterfall pose. Feel your lower back expanding as you inhale. Feel your navel drawing in towards your spine as you exhale, helping with the hinging of the hips. Release your hands again beside your toes, come high on your fingertips as you inhale, lengthen the spine. Now cross your right leg over your left leg and fold. This should feel incredibly good. You should feel a little more pressure in the back of your left leg all the way up through the hamstring to the sit bone. Halfway up on the inhale, now walk your hands to the right as far as you can. Maintain integrity in your base, which means your feet, your foundation. Walk your hands back to center. Release your right leg and hang. Waterfall pose, again using weight from your upper body to roll forward over your lower body. Find heaviness in your elbows, heaviness in your head. Switching now to the other side. Again, a forward fold using the force of your front left leg to push back against that right shin. Inhale as you come halfway up. Exhale as you walk your hands to the left. Again, only going as far as you possibly can while keeping your feet firmly rooted against the floor, creating intense sensations, but not those that cross the line to pain. Again, feet hips distance apart, third and final round, waterfall pose, using the weight of the upper body, rolling forward over the lower body. Bring the hands down beside the feet. Inhale as you lift your chest away from your legs. Soften your knees again, get nice and low, deep in the hips. And then peel your heels up off the mat. Drop your hips all the way down onto your heels. Right away you should notice the shins, the front of the ankles, the top of the feet. Strengthening your ankles here as we support ourselves on the balls of the feet. Try and push the knees together for more stability. Extend your arms out in front of you, palms rotating down. Keep your heels lifted. Strong, stable legs. Slowly begin to rise. Keep those heels high and the ankles moving in towards the core line, the center line. Building strength, often where injury has been in the body. Important way of preventing further injury and recovering. Arms reach overhead now, lift as high as you can. Exhale into a twist, right hand behind you, left hand in front. Upper body rotates here, but the lower body is stable, connecting to your core and that core stability. Bring your right hand forward. Inhale, arms reach. As you exhale, twist in the opposite direction. Right hand in front, left hand behind. Pushing your hips towards the front of the mat, keeping them in line. Again, both hands come forward and up on the inhale. As you exhale, bend your knees and slowly lower down. Heels are lifted, ankles are moving in. Slowly bring the hands to heart. Now step your feet wide, coming down into a low squat. Open your lower back. Open your hips. Breathe here and actively push your fingertips into the floor in front of you. Feel the length that you have in your spine from your tailbone to your heart. The hands return to the chest and then again to the floor. Feel that opening. Walk your feet back in. Heels are lifted. On that next inhale, slowly rise. Arms reach up. Shoulders dropping away from your ears. Feel the strength you're creating in your legs. The area of the leg beneath your knee, an area we often forget about and lose focus. Soften the knees and slowly sink down. Sit bones hovering above your heels before your hands once again find the earth beneath you and join together at your heart. There should be a bit more space. Push your fingertips into the floor in front of you. The hands again return to the heart. Push your hands into the floor for support and then extend your left leg back. Starting out in this high lunge position with our left kneecap on the floor and the left toes hooked under, hand pushing firmly into your right knee to help your torso lift. Start out with your hips. Try and move around in the pelvic region until you find alignment with your hips towards the front of the room. Draw your tailbone under. Push firmly into all four corners of your front right foot. And with that stable foundation, take your hands out in front of your chest and then overhead. You can lift your arms without shrugging the shoulders, flaring your fingers, and then pushing down with your hands. Allow that back leg to hover. Soften the knee again. Focus on the alignment in your hips. Hip alignment is key. As runners, one hip often will find itself higher than the other. That misalignment has repercussions in our lower body, injuries in the IT band. Try and focus on recreating that sense of stability and equanimity in that region. You can take your arms up if that's comfortable and available to you in this exalted warrior, before we bring both hands down to the mat. Roll now to the outside of your right foot. Flex your foot to protect your knee. Going into the hip, going into the IT band region. Performance muscles should be nice and active here. On your next inhale, lower that left heel to the floor and then sweep your left arm up towards the sky. Feeling it now in our groin. Opening and expanding through the chest, breathing into the intercostals, inviting breath into the body. Strong connection to the feet, lifting into your left hand, not dropping down into that right shoulder. Look down towards your foot and then sweep that left hand back down to mat. Strong connection to both hands, little softness in your elbows. Go nice and deep into the hip and then re-straighten your arms. Right hand now extending out in front of you, slowly out to the side, moving into a twist with integrity. Notice the left hip would like to drop down, allowing you to rotate more deeply but only in the pelvic region, avoiding that true tension that exists in the thoracic region of the spine. Bring the right hand slowly down to mat, pushing into your palms, extend both legs to the back of the mat. Slow, steady, even breathing. Soft knees, lifted heels, modified downward facing dog. Feel the extension in your back, straighten your legs, soften the knees, but keep your heels lifted here. Focus more on the release in the hips and the lower spine. And then, once that area is soft, allow your heels to drop down to the floor. Your hips are high, your heels slowly sink down, inviting the stretch into the hamstrings. Take your left leg now and extend it, deepening that connection with the right heel in the mat. If you keep your hips even here, you can feel it in your IT band. Feel that strong, stable right leg as you lower your left leg on top of the heel, clasping onto the back of your heel or Achilles tendon with your left toes. Hold that connection and use that connection to actually draw your right heel closer down to the mat. Inhale as you lift your left leg back up towards the sky. Exhale as you step that left foot up between your hands, coming into that same high lunge position here. Left leg forward, right leg pushing firmly back. Bring your right kneecap to the floor, keep your toes hooked, and use your hands to push your torso away from your front left leg. Again, awareness at the hips. Take that right hip forward, left hip back, pelvic tilt, tailbone under, and then lead with your tailbone and feel this in your hip flexor, not as a compression of the lower back. From there, you can extend your hands forward, flaring your fingers, and lifting your hands overhead, arms eventually out of your peripheral vision. Soften your gaze to the floor, slow, steady cycles of breath. Exhale as you rise, bringing your hands to your hips, soften the back knee, and again, make those same set of adjustments. Evenness to the hips. Awareness is always that first step. Noticing what's taking place in that region of the body. And then extending your hands in front of your heart. Flare your fingers. When you're ready, inhale, exalted warrior, arms reach up. Try and split your mat in half with the energy or force of your legs. The purpose here is to prepare us for our run, creating energy, strength, and of course warmth. Bring the hands down now inside that left foot as you roll out to the outer edge. Curl your toenails in towards your shin as you let your left knee move out to the side, stable in your right leg. Very slowly transitioning, bringing that right heel down to mat, right hand out to the side, and then slowly up towards the sky. Feel the deep opening in your left hamstring. Feel it in your groin. You can even feel it in your right hip flexor if you draw the tailbone under and push your hips forward. Opening the body here and breathing into any areas where you may find resistance or tension. Try and breathe to and through that resistance. Bring the right hand slowly down to mat. Soften your elbows and lower the chest. Inhale, lift. Now extend your left hand. Take it out to the side, mindful of your hips, knowing the hips would like to drop, slowly lift your left hand. Try and twist in your spine, not just rotating in your hips. Pedal back into your right heel and forward into your left heel. Slowly bring that left hand back down. Inhale as you step back into plank position. Find strength and integrity in the core here. Soften your knees, and again, take that variation of downward facing dog with heels lifted, knees bent. Straighten the legs, and then lower the heels. Roll your breath through your body. Pour your body into the frame of this pose. That next inhale sweeps your right leg to the sky. Try and even out the pressure in your hands, which will even out your shoulders. Evening the shoulders will help you even out your hips. Clasp onto the back of your left Achilles tendon with your right toes and pull your heel closer to the mat without the expectation or force of it having to touch down, simply allowing it to lower as far as it possibly can. Step your feet about hips distance apart. On your next inhale, walk your hands in closer to your feet. You should now feel a connection with the bottom of the feet in the mat. Drop your knees down and sit back onto your heels. Yes, our 10 toes are still hooked under, and that sensation could be quite intense and strong. This is a place you should visit at least once a day. Bring the hands back out in front of you, release the feet. Now sit back on your heels, opening up the front of your feet, top of your feet, shins all the way up into the knees. Again, if you experience tension here, shin splints, this is an area we should visit often. Your arms can go overhead, remembering that that addition is not necessary. Hands down under your shoulders, hook the 10 toes under, and then again revisit downward facing dog. Pull the breath through your entire body as you look at your hands. Step your left and then your right foot to the front of the mat. Soften your knees, get nice and low. Sweep your arms back beside you, flare your fingers here. Inhale as you reach all the way up. Exhale as you bring your hands to your heart. Feel balanced in your hips, balanced in your shoulders. Bend your knees now as you sink down. Take your right leg up, flex your foot, and cross that right leg over your left knee. Make sure that your knee feels comfortable here. The purpose is to move into the hips. This is hip opener, not a knee strainer. Take your hands and extend your arms out in front of you, flaring your fingers. Sit deeply as though you're sitting into a chair. And then if it's available to you, sweep your arms out to the side just like wings. Awareness in your hips, still flexing that foot, nice and low. Bring your hands now onto your hips for a little more stability here. And lower your right foot down. Sink low, connect with your feet, find your foundation, and then lift your left leg. Flexing your foot, cross that left leg over your right knee. And slowly begin to lower your sit bones and your hips evenly towards the floor. Stabilize in that area. Eventually your shin will run parallel to the floor beneath you. Your arms can extend out in front, flaring your fingers. Your breath is rolling down into your hips. Feeling it in your hips. Arms out to the side, try and drop your chest slightly further forward, lowering your collarbone towards your shin, only to the point where it's comfortable for you. Inhale as your arms reach forward, sitting down nice and deep, bringing your hands to your hips and releasing both legs down to mat. Interwoven fingers behind you again, broaden through your chest. Exhale, forward folding. Try and move actively now into your legs. Straighten your legs out. Connect your torso to your thighs. You should have more room now that the body is warm. Moving into your shoulders as your hands wrap out beyond the top of your head. And then slide onto your hips, down the backs of your legs, going into a very deep, very active forward fold. Soften your knees. Take your hands out in front of you, rooting into your feet. Inhale, rise. Bring your hands again to your heart center. Stay here and breathe. Find and establish Tadasana again. Scan your body from top to bottom, very aware in your skin, feeling each and every cell of your being. Moving from this place mindfully, with awareness, integrity, from heel to head.